Call the meeting order of the Solid Waste District of LaPorte County on December 14th, 2022 meeting. Let's stand for the pledge of allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Matias, Commissioner Haney,
Present.
Mayor Dermody,
Present.
Mayor Perry,
Present.
Commissioner Brzezinski,
Present.
Councilman Mullenhour,
Present.
Councilman Prespolinski.
Present.
You have a quorum.
The minutes of the September 14th meeting, are there any additions or corrections?
Motion to approve as presented.
Second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Okay. The claims report for October, November, and December. Would any of the board members like a minute to take a look at it?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no questions, I make a motion to approve them as presented. Second.
All right. You okay, Commissioner? Yeah. Okay. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. The approval of year-end claims.
What we always do, and the board has allowed us in the past, we will, probably the end of the month, 28th, 29th, we will send out our last claim docket for the year, try to wrap up things using 22 funds. The board usually allows just the chairman to sign those after everybody's reviewed it. It's just a procedure that we normally follow, just to try to wrap up some year-end claims.
I make that motion. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Financial report through November 30th.
That'll be the paper that looks like this. And what I always point out to the board is what's in yellow up there. Our new cash balance after today's claims would be $998,783. We have sufficient funds to operate the district. We still haven't received our fall distribution, so that should be coming in towards the end of the month or 1st of January. So we do have sufficient funds to run the district.
Okay.
Question, Mr. Turner, what will those funds be? The next influx of funds?
If it's based on what we've received in the past, and it's always varies by what tax sales, who's paid and hasn't paid and all that kind of stuff, but we're looking to probably get about another 1.2 million.
Very good.
And you can see by our claims, we expend about 300,000 a month.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Comments from the public? Looks like we have no public here to comment. All right, director's report.
First item I have on my report is we sent out November 3rd RFPs for our electronics program and our HHW program. We had a pre-bid meeting on November 3rd. The RFPs were due back on November 28th. We opened the RFPs on November 28th, took them under advisement. We looked them over, and we had two folks for our electronics, which is our current electronics provider, which is Greenway and ERI. In your packet, I submitted you with an analysis. We went through, compared two prices. And it looks as though Greenwave is gonna continue being the best deal for LaPorte County at this time. So with the board's approval, we'll start negotiating a contract and bring it back to the board for their approval and chairman's signature.
Okay.
I'll make the motion to, give Mr. Turner the approval to start negotiating with, Greenway. Sure.
Is that a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
We also did the HHW RFPs at the same time, same day, with the same bid process. We didn't have as a robust interest as we did in electronics. We probably had 6 vendors talking about electronics and only 2 of them. We only had 2 that requested RFPs for the HHW program, and only 1 vendor submitted. That was Tredevi, our current vendor. So my recommendation would be to award the contract to Tredevi.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Next is just to give you an update. Hopefully, our Michigan City representatives here have seen it, but we did move the electronic trailer over to central maintenance at Kentucky and Russell Street. We seem to be getting good response. We haven't heard a lot of complaints from central maintenance, so we think it's going to work out. We hope so, because it gets a lot of use. It's a lot better location than the old one on Hitchcock Road. So we're gonna wait maybe till the end of the month and see if Mr. Smith has any concerns. And at that point, we're probably gonna start moving the public access site next to the electronics trailer.
That's a general recycle from the mall?
Yes.
Right.
Good, because I thought we talked about that.
Right, I just wanted to make sure we didn't overwhelm Mr. Smith.
Overwhelm him?
Yeah,
Sure.
You know, let's take it
Yeah,
slow.
and to, comment to what you're saying is I talked to, Sean Smith the other day about that, electronics recycling box, and he says that it's working out quite well. You know, every once in a while you got somebody that, you know, put something there that they shouldn't or what have you. And he says they just, you know, they take care of it, but overall it's working very well. And yeah, the recycle box, the general recycle box, I am full-heartedly in favor of moving that box out of its present location. All it does is cause, well, number one, it's unsightly, very unsightly, okay, for the city. Number two, the litter that it spews off into St. John's Road and the Ruby Woods area, you know, it's always being brought to the city's attention what a mess that is. So yeah, that box, no doubt, needs to be moved. Now, the only thing is, when that box is moved, I can see it right now, knowing how some of these people operate, the way they dump things around, that people are still gonna be throwing items in there thinking that we're gonna come and pick them up. So I don't know how to remedy that, besides having a police officer there 24 hours a day. We all know that's not gonna happen, but yeah, that'll be a concern, trying to deal with that. But moving that box, you know, I can't wait till we get that done.
And that is a concern of the Marquette Mall representatives, that Ms. Emmert over there. You know, as much as they really don't want the box there, they know it's gonna be a problem once we remove it. We'll work with our current vendor and have them go over there and pick up stuff that's unrecyclable. And we'll just hope that Scott, our guy, Scott, will be able to keep up with the recyclable stuff, making sure it's transported over.
Okay.
We'll give it a reasonable amount of time, and then I'm just gonna have to stop. But
Yeah, we will deal with it.
we're gonna work with some
Yeah, have
signage.
that box moved.
Signage might help.
Pardon?
Signage.
Yeah, we can put signage up, Mr. Dermody, yeah, and that's a good idea. You know, that this box has now been moved, given the location of where it's moved to, and
That's what we're gonna start with, the banner on our current sign, let them know that it's gonna be moving. It's not a date, and then after that, we'll put a sign that said it's been moved to this date, and
yeah, very good.
then we'll work on some joint signage for the new site that
We'll do a press release, we should city and post it on our city webpage too.
Okay, great.
Get out as much as we can. Okay, 2023 board meeting schedule and holiday schedule.
And the board schedule basically follows what we're currently doing. It's the second Wednesday quarterly, except for July, we'll get to the third Wednesday because of the Fair Week. So it wouldn't interfere with anybody's schedule. And then our holidays, once again, we're just following what LaPorte County has given their employees, which we follow. So we're just gonna ask you to adopt their calendar.
Motion to approve.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Old business. Payroll adjustments?
State Board of Accounts, I think the county's gone through this for years. Even when I was connected with the county, they were writing us up for that, and the county eventually corrected it a couple of years ago. We're in where we pay to date. We actually pay you might not even work that day, but we still pay you that day. So we're gonna try in 2023 to correct that. We just need to let the board know that we might make it a 3-week before the employees get paid, so we can get back on that where you work and then you get paid. Or we might do we'll pay you one week, and then we'll pay you for 3 weeks, 2 weeks from that point. But we're gonna get that corrected so we're not written up anymore by the State Board of Accounts. They recommended that I inform the board and put it in our minutes.
Okay, about encumbrances.
I have a resolution I'd like to present to the board about trying to encumber some of our compost facility money that we have left over, and then some of our software maintenance money. I'd like to try to hold for future purchase in 2023 that we don't have enough funds for in 2023 to pay for it entirely. As we talked about before, I'm trying to establish a capital equipment account where I can buy new pieces of equipment for our compost site. And this just gives me an opportunity to add this fund to the money that you set aside for 2023. So we'll be able to pay a larger chunk towards your purchase.
And do you have a list of what your goals are to purchase?
We do. The one I brought with me, though, we're looking at placing one of our cats, because it's getting pretty old, with a smaller skid loader type of, and we got a quote on that. That's how we could encumber the money with the quote. But with purchasing equipment, it's really tough to get anything unless you make a commitment today. So this, even though you give me the money, I might not even be able to get it in 23. Might just be a wishful thought. By the time we get on their list and they order, if they don't have something that will suffice it and then stop.
Okay, we need a motion to approve the encumbrances, is that correct?
Yes.
Motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. New business.
This will be known as Resolution 2022-01. And as the board knows, I can't find anything outright unless I come back and ask you for permission to do it. So you can, at that time, you could say, let's think about it. Next item is our salary resolution for 2023. Once again, our salary is based on the raise that LaPorte County gave its employees, which would be at 10% across the board to all of our employees.
Any questions or comments from the board? Do you have a motion to approve? Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
This would be known as Resolution 2022-02.
Clay, I'm sorry, can I ask, so the 10% was just, were there any performance metrics or just was,
Straight
is that
across the
not sure
board.
what the county did?
No, it's flat.
Okay.
Okay, we have a remote work policy.
This is once again something that LaPorte County had passed, and we normally adopt whatever they pass, put into our personnel policy. I guess before I ask for a motion or a second, I'd ask maybe Commissioner Haney if they've had any problems with the way, we took yours exactly word for word, all I took out was like department heads and put in director and HR person.
So, when we passed this within, a couple of days, there were several employees heading different departments who thought it would allow, a new work at home workforce, if you will. So I put out some clarifying guidance that this is, as we're in the post-COVID era, so to speak, having some sort of remote work policy in place. That way, if you have an entire department go down, let's say if there's something comes up, we already have something in place. So the intent of what we passed was in the event of something, either a one-off situation or another sort of pandemic situation, we'd have something in place to deal with. But this doesn't authorize anybody who's not currently or isn't working from home to start working at home. So it's one of those, if something comes up and there has to be, there's at least something in place here for now. I think kind of based upon some of the feedback we've had, we're probably going to look at maybe tightening this up next year a little bit and delineating it a little better. But, for now, it's something good to have on the books just in case.
Joe, would you call something to order to say this is now, could be now in place? Say we get another COVID outbreak, would the commissioners have to say it first for this to take effect?
No, we could just direct our department heads to institute it on kind of department by department basis, or whatever needs to be.
Department heads that called me and asked for us, I said, we're not in the mood to micromanage your department. You're the department head. You know best whether somebody can work remote or not. And we did have a couple of department heads that were confronted about that. And told them, you're the department head. You know best who can work from home and if they can. So
So it could be now.
it is now. We adopted it last meeting or meeting before that?
It's almost 3 meetings ago now, I believe.
Yeah, it was, only there was your signature, but not the date on here. 11/2/22. That was when we adopted it. I guess then my question would be, you have several hundred employees. We have 8. Is this something that we need to include in our personnel policy, or is it just something that's going to cause me more headaches than it's going to solve?
It's still gonna be your option. You're the boss. I know you got some real hard-nosed employees here.
Okay, well, we like to be as consistent with the county as possible so they can't go back.
But I'd make a motion then that we adopt the remote work policy.
Can we ask any questions?
Sure.
Yeah. Before motions are made? Now, I do have an issue with this policy, and that's under item B, where in the last sentence it says, and I guess you qualify for this type 4 policy if you have not had any disciplinary warnings in the past year. So, what is a warning like? Okay, you're coming tardy to work, don't come tardy anymore? Or does a warning mean you were given time off for some type of disciplinary measure? And what does a warning really have to do in a 1 year, a 12-month time period to not let you work from home remotely? Does that mean you're a bad employee and we can't trust you to work at home because you got a warning in your record? I have disciplined many of people and had that role for years out of U.S. Steel. And to me, this here seems, very minute to running the business, and to give somebody a warning and then say, well, you can't work from home because you had a warning in the last 12 months. I don't agree with it. And I will not support this if it's in that contents.
At the county, we have a regular form that goes through HR. If somebody is brought in and disciplined and written up for a specific, whatever they did. being late for work or doing something stupid with your cell phone. They just had a few different things like that. And it's a regular form, get written up, and it'll say on there that any future problems like that, it would be progressive. It's in the handbook, progressive discipline. There again, it's up to the department head. I mean, if it's, depending on what the discipline was, if it was for being 5 minutes late for work, and honest to God, that's happened, 5 minutes late for work, you got it written up. Okay, that's not a huge thing, you know. If you total a car or something, well, then that would be a different deal. Or if you were consistently late, something to progressive. So there again, it would be up to the department head. You know who you can trust.
And you really don't need that language because the department head's gonna make that decision.
Exactly.
If that's what we're going to do.
That was gonna be my question. Is it a language issue? Is it too vague?
Or
Doug, what's your opinion, or is
I
it
think it
just,
should be going to be.
is it more something to fall back on?
I'm not sure why it's different.
Yeah, so part of what I alluded to earlier, why we gotta take another look at this next year, because there's some language that needs to be tightened up and things that need to be clarified, is picks up exactly on what Councilman Prisbalinski was talking about there. This is kind of, it was put together fairly sloppily, and it needs to be done. So we'll tighten it up next year and kind of put some better parameters in place so it explains what the purpose is, why we're doing it, and laying it out better. You know, for you guys, we're a smaller group here. It does, we have, 800 total employees roughly, and everybody has their own different view of it. The department heads have their different views. So it may just be better if you want to just kind of table this for now and take a look at it again when the county tightens it up. If you want to mirror it,
I make a motion to table it.
I'll say that just so if we vote or whatever.
I'm sorry?
We have 3 folks down at the compost site, they wouldn't even qualify for this, so now my 8's down to 5, so it's like, I don't have a dog in this fight,
So
so
my concern about paragraph B was that we're talking about conduct and disciplinary things. Well, we've just been through a health crisis, and what if you get a new employee who has a immune system disorder that doesn't affect their work, but then we get another wave of COVID, they haven't been here 6 months. I like the first paragraph where it's on a case-by-case basis. What you said?
I mean, that's probably a good idea, just to table it and see what the county comes up with, and then we can.
And you made a motion, right, Doug?
Made a motion to
Okay.
table.
Do we have a second?
Second down there.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I mean, right now, Clay, if somebody, you would allow, I would assume, someone to work remotely previous to this.
What I would do is look at the personnel policy, and we try to use all their personal time first. And then we go to a policy where we say, okay, you're out of personal time, you're out of vacation time. We need you to work from home, it works out.
Okay,
So sorry. I was just concerned with what, and I know I'm not supposed to discuss it after it's tabled, but I remember the article where the commissioners voted on it, and then they had to clarify it, and I didn't want to go through the same thing with my people.
Sure. Okay, next item on the agenda, take care of remote work resolution on excess equipment.
Yes, we have and I gave you an exhibit A in there. We have a 1998 Holland tractor down at our site. It's old, we're just not really using it anymore. The arms just aren't strong enough to pick up our compost. I'd like to dispose of that. It's just taking up space, and every couple of years I gotta buy new batteries for it because we're not using it enough to keep the batteries running. So,
You have a question, Mr. President?
Sure.
Yeah. What do you mean the arms aren't strong enough? The hydraulic cylinders are shot, or
Yeah, the hoses-
welds are broke on the arms?
We've had it welded several times when we had it out west, but we haven't even used it at all here at the LaPorte site. It just sits there and takes up space. And it's one of those kind of out of sight, out of mind, and the guys down there want to know if they can park it outside now, because it's taking up space in the garage.
Well, if you're experiencing material failure in those components, then I think it needs to be
It's
revised.
just not, it's just not.
Not worth getting a couple bucks for somewhere.
Well, I'm hoping to get a couple bucks for it. I'm hoping maybe a farmer can use it. It's got a good PTO on the back of it, or it can drive other equipment, a water wagon or something.
Yeah, say.
we just don't use it. We used to use it, the PTO, to drive the windrow turners, but now our rows are so big, we can't pull that through the windrows. So it's no purpose for us.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. On our agenda, I have a motion to adjourn.
I have one more thing if I could, Mr. Chairman. Sure. As always, sometimes after election year, we gain a member, lose a member or two. This year we are losing Commissioner Matias. I just want to make it a public record that we appreciate the effort that she put into our work for the last 4 years and recognize that she was an integral part of what we do here at Solid Waste District. So I just wanted to offer our thanks to her as she
Well made.
moves on. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, if I may. Yeah, I just want to wish everybody Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Thank you, ladies, for your hard work and effort, and Clay, thank you for all your hard work and effort, and the board members. And then just one thing I'd like to say, now that the district is really, in my mind, solid, when we worked hard on getting it to be solid, that, yeah, you know, I had heard last couple months that there was a 50%, increase in the fees for waste collection that we voted on and we put into motion. But without that, the district wouldn't be solid right now and wouldn't be in the financial state that it's in. So that was done for a purpose, for all the folks of LaPorte County, so that they can still enjoy the service of having refuse picked up and the recycling picked up, and all the other things we do with the funds. So, yeah, I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thanks. It's been a great year. Hopefully 2023 will be the best yet.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate.